ideas?
You want to?
Well, first of all, sorry, did you press record?
I did.
Okay. So, Kaitlyn, do
You
you...
can always edit it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Start off with telling my story.
Yeah,
And then-
well, how about this? This is my friend Kaitlyn, and Kaitlyn and I met through the Young Survival Coalition, and we're going to talk a little bit today about how we met and what it's like to live with breast cancer.
Alrighty. Hi, I'm Kaitlyn, and as Lindsay was saying, we met 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2017, I think.
2000, yeah. At Tour de Pink's, or YSC's Tour de Pink bike ride, and Lindsay was an advocate, and I was there with my friend Samantha, who was also stage 4. We're all stage 4 breast cancer survivors, and we went up and met Lindsay, and ever since then we just hit it off immediately, and our friendship has continued.
I think it's pretty important to recognize that breast cancer doesn't look any certain one way, and there's just tons of different ways that people end up going through breast cancer. And so my breast cancer is a lot different than Kaitlyn's breast cancer, right?
Yeah, so we were both diagnosed with, well, she was diagnosed with an early stage. I'll let her tell her story. But I was diagnosed with stage 4, and
Out the gate.
Out the gate. So immediately, I was screwed. But I was 24 and did treatment, and I was clear of the disease. We thought I was all good. Continued my treatment with immunotherapy, and then in 2018, I had a tumor in my brain, and we had to do surgery. And people always said, you know, you'll be fine, you'll make it. But what they don't realize is what can happen after you have a brain tumor. And that's what I got, and that's leptomeningeal disease, where it spreads into your spinal fluid. And the cancer slowly attacks the nervous system.
What would you say is the hardest part about having leptomeningeal cancer?
Experiencing my body slowly giving up on me without it being able to do anything to stop it, but do treatment and pray that it works. But so far it works for a minute and then stops, and here I am in a wheelchair now. I can't walk. Yeah, I look like a normal person, but my body's dying on me, all because of the cancer.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And even with Lindsay's cancer, I mean, just because hers is as intense and she looks like a normal human being, like I did too.
Like I pass for healthy most of the time.
Yeah. And she still has to live with treatment every day, and the stage 4 breast cancer stigma of, like they say, you're not going to die of breast cancer. It's metastatic breast cancer you die from. And yeah, I don't know what scares you most.
I think I get scared by not having choice over the direction that my life takes, and that is a constant fear of, you know, it's so hard to make plans. Now, I don't think I was like the greatest person at making plans to begin with before the cancer, but now it's so hard to look at the future and make big plans that are anything beyond like 1 year is like kind of gray and hazy for me. So that, I would say, is really hard. And it's also really hard to, as much as it's important for me to find people to connect with regarding this disease, both Kaitlyn and I have lost so many people to this disease. So you end up meeting these fantastic people, and you know, and there are times when you will have to say goodbye to those people as well, and so that's really frustrating. But that, I mean, to kind of put a bright spin on it, I feel like some of my greatest friendships have always been people that I meet through the cancer world. It's so easy to connect with people that have that same thing in common with you.
Yeah, no one gets it. No one gets it. I have some family members, Shannon, and no, I have many family and friends that understand what I'm going through. But like I said in the beginning, it was just, oh, you'll beat this, you'll be fine. So many people have breast cancer. And
so many people do survive breast cancer diagnosis. So many people do go through treatment. They have a really terrible 1 year of treatment, and then they go on. But and the statistic is that a third of breast cancer, of early stage breast cancer diagnoses, will end up progressing to a stage 4 diagnosis, which is a significant part of the population. And so
and then the whole leptomeningeal, it's still breast cancer.
So can you tell me a little bit about what makes leptomeningeal it is what breast cancer can
it's a late
progress
complication of breast cancer or lung cancer or melanoma or brain cancer, and it's when it gets into the spinal fluid and walks onto the meninges or floats through the spinal fluid and just disrupts everything in this nervous system.
So do they still treat it like breast cancer, or do they have to treat it like leptomeningeal now? Like it's a different...
They still treat it as breast cancer. Obviously, I had to get a port put in my head, and I was doing Herceptin, which is immunotherapy, and that worked for a while, which I'm very fortunate. I've had this disease, it will be 2 years in March, and actually it'll be 5 years in April of cancer. What were we saying?
Just, there's a difference between leptomeningeal and breast cancer.
So they do treat it
but
as...
they're connected, and the reason that you have leptomeningeal is because it's a complication of the breast cancer.
Right? It just outsmarts, because there isn't many treatments that cross the blood-brain barrier, and cancer is so smart that it can get through the blood-brain barrier, as to how I got the brain tumor. And like I'm doing treatment, but it's also kicking my butt. So you gotta weigh out the good of having quality of life.
Is there something that you wish people would know about your disease? I think the most important thing is don't waste any time with anything you don't want to do. Do whatever feels right. Live the life you want to live. And also, just if you get diagnosed, you gotta stay strong and fight it out. And
you always talk about being your own advocate.
And being your own advocate as well. Just always checking yourself and listening to your body, because only you know what's going on. It's like with leptomeningeal, I can ask the doctors and tell people, and they can listen and somewhat understand, but they don't understand because they're not living it or experiencing it.
And it's probably not, it doesn't come across as commonly, right? Like this is not a cancer that they're seeing patients every single day with.
Yeah, it's 2 to 5% of cancer patients getting this diagnosis. And it's brutal.
I like what you said about how the cancer helps you to reframe your decision making in life. I mean, it really does kind of give you a license to cut out all the bullshit and to make decisions that are in your best interest. And it forces you to do that faster than you probably would have figured out on your own.
Yeah. So it's like, I'll get to it tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, I still do that occasionally, but not serious stuff. I was very fortunate and got to do whatever I wanted. Go skydiving with my cousin. Get tattoos, even though I chickened out.
That's okay. I got it to show.
All in all, I ask myself, like, would I change what's happened? And in all honesty, I don't think so, because it opened my eyes to what really matters in life, and to appreciate the small things in your family and friends and dogs. And as Lindsay knows, I mean, we don't have forever, no one does. So,
you know, before cancer, I would never have thought about my own mortality, and I would not be, you know, trying to make decisions now to, it's hard to describe, but, you know, it does give you this perspective that is so unique. Most young adults don't have, you know, are feeling very immortal and don't think about those things.
Oh yeah, like where you want to be buried, or
or just who you want to spend your time with, or you know, those little,
your final days,
or just like pesky, you know, I don't know. I have relationships that I value so much, and I don't worry about some of that other stuff, because it's just, everything else just becomes small stuff, and it kind of really puts things in perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Let me pause.
Thank you for sharing that with us today.
Love you.
Love you. Both.
Are you filming?
B-roll.
I see you.